Interesting. Don't breathe too hard. Thank you for making them here. Come early today. I think we're expecting this thing out. All meetings to order. Welcome to all two. We'll start with the lead. Here. Here.
Alderman Roll,
Here.
Alderman Johnson,
Here.
Alderman Montoya,
Here.
Alderman Ruthenberg.
Here.
Six president, Your Honor.
Okay. Presentation of general proceedings. We have a motion to approve the city council minutes from the last meeting on March 11th, 2025. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman McGee, second by Alderman Roll. On the question? Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Roll,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman Ruthenberg.
Aye.
Six ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Public comments. As a reminder, the public comment period is not a time for dialogue. The purpose of the public comment period is for the mayor and the aldermen of the city to receive input from their community. It is in fact a one-way communication to the city council. The city's administration and department heads are available for discussions after the meeting. Is there any public comment?
I'd like to say good evening to Mayor Bluto and also to our city council members. My name is Ollie Clements and I'm representing Mission Covenant Church. Before you, you may see an invitation for Mission Covenant Church as our relaunch, our reignite, renewed, remodeled, and revived. Please come and join us in our celebration to relaunch Mission Covenant Church. Our date is Sunday, April 13th, 2025 at 3:00 p.m. And we'd like you to come and experience a powerful time of worship, fellowship, and fresh fire. Let's reignite our faith and move forward together. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you join us. Thank you.
Public comment?
My name is Nancy Goldwood. I am a basketball coach in the south suburbs, and I'm here to dedicate a plaque to the city of Blue Island for helping us with some of our young men and establishing a basketball team at the Ritter Center. We won a national championship, which it was 64 teams involved, and you had to win 5 games in 3 days, and we were able to come out ahead on that. One of your city councilmen, coach, we call him Coach Dick, but Councilman Johnson is associate coach with me, been coaching basketball for a while together. And what I just wanted to say, I want to thank you guys for the use of the gym because you really appreciate it. Last year, we were involved with 19 young men who had scholarships, local and far away as Kansas, full ride scholarships for basketball. And each and every one of those young men spend time in the Ritter Center. So I just would like to this plaque, and we have a few family members from Blue Island that came to support us and go on the team with us last year, and I think they're playing at Eisenhower now. And just want to thank you guys for the use of the gym and the support from the community. So we'd like to dedicate you.
Do you want to come up here? Take a picture that way the whole council can see the picture.
Okay.
Very careful there for me.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Players. No. As, what I said. The family. All right, good deal. Okay, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Are any other public comments? Any other public comment?
Good evening. My name is Carlos Delgado. Please correct me if I'm out of line. I wanted to address what I believe to be a disconnect between the police force and how they manage the ticketing of vehicles on the streets. If possible, I'm okay with talking to somebody on the side afterwards if it's more efficient, if that's a better way to do things. We have my family, I'm here to speak on their behalf. It's our family home. They've received tickets for cars that are registered under the home that they're parked in front of. They park behind the home, they still receive tickets. My sister the other day received a warning that she was going to get towed. I don't think that these cars are properly being looked at to see if they are registered to the home that they're nearby. My mother, for example, just to give you another example of another thing that we're running into and why I think that there's a disconnect. My mother, who has a vehicle, was registered out of state, so she came to town to visit, did what she was told to do, register it online, as a visitor for a week's length. And over that time, she received 2 tickets, which are in her mailbox now and out of state. So I don't think that they're, following the right steps, which I would imagine would be to run the plates to see who's the owner and all that. And so we've paid bills, just to not run the risk of being sent to collections. We have some that are still standing, for example, and still the lingering threat of possibly being towed, in which case then the city, kind of does their hands right, and it's our problem to go get the vehicle back. So again, I'd love to speak to somebody if that's the best route.
Police chief, can you raise your hand? You'd be able to talk to them right now and state the issue with them and go up into it.
Right now is okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for your time.
Any other public comments? Not moving on. In mayor's report, we have a motion to approve payroll dated March 14th, 2025, amount of $446,571. Is there a motion? Alderman Johnson, second Alderman Fairwell on the question. Do the roll call.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Roll,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman Ruthenberg. 6 ayes, your honor.
Carries. Next, we have a motion to approve accounts payable dated March 26th, 2025, in the amount of $547,954.23. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman McGee, second by Alderman Montoya on the question. Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman Ruthenberg.
Aye.
6 ayes, your honor.
Carries. Under C, with resolution for the city of Blue Island, County, Illinois, authorizing approving the scope of work and quotation from Chicago Communications LLC. This is for the tornado sirens. Is there a motion? Motion by Alderman Fairwell, second by Alderman Roll on the questions. Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman McGee,
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman Ruthenberg.
Aye.
6 ayes, your honor.
Carries. Under D, we need a resolution for the city of Blue Island, County, Illinois, to authorize and approve the planned maintenance agreement from Buckeye Power Sales, our current provider for our backup generator for the police and fire station. Is there a motion? Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman McGee on the question. Clerk, please do the roll call.
Alderman Fairwell,
Aye.
Alderman McGee.
Aye.
Alderman Roll.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Montoya.
Aye.
Alderman Ruthenberg. 6 ayes, Your Honor.
Motion carries under mayor's comments. This was a short agenda. I did spend some time, unless I was minutes late, typing up some things that we've been working on as a city for the last month or so. I'll continue discussing the fire tornado system. If you guys noticed or heard, we had that weather last week. We actually had tornado sirens go off. So the two that were missing or broken from the last 2 decades were finally replaced. So the entire city now can hear the tornado siren go off when the bad weather comes. And actually sound a little different than I remember, but at least we got them now, and something we haven't had for at least a decade or more. So that's a good thing. They just installed those last week. Thank you to our fire chief that led that charge. So I made some notes together on stuff that we've been working on since January 1st. And I'll start with the most recent. Yesterday, me and my administration spent at least 3 hours touring 6 different businesses in town with an owner of a steakhouse restaurant group. He owns 6 different restaurants, primarily in Will County. Very, very high end. We went to go see the restaurant in Joliet, next to the Rialto Theater. And then we invited him out. He did come out. Met with Larry Loretto, Brian from Studios, Andrea from Bacchus, a bunch of business members in the community. It was very good. I hope he comes back. We gave him some options for possibly opening something in town, crossing our fingers that we can get something going with that. He did reach out to some property owners already, which is a great sign. So we've done that today. So that's hopefully a discussion and process that it's another goal that I wanted to replace what we once had with Maple Tree, a fine dining establishment to offset theater and other things, and they can all help each other. So that was a great meeting yesterday, and took a day off for that. And again, very positive. Our business people spoke very positive for the city. AJ Weir put the whole schedule together, and it was just very well rounded. And he even said, I only plan to come out to Blue Island for an hour and stay for 3. So it was a great day for that. NWRD flood plan, lower 5th ward, letters finally went out to the, I think, 15 or 17 properties.
It's 9 single families.
Something like that. Yeah, it's not many, a couple of apartment buildings. They found letters of interest for both us and NWRD, and already 3 expressed interest to sell. One being the largest apartment building on the parcels, which is one of the most highly praised probably properties. So that's a good sign. So that's moving forward. And then again, just to remind the board, this is something we've been talking about for at least a couple of years. We've got a substantial promissory from NWRD to fund a permanent solution for the flooding in the northeast side of the city. It's not a Band-Aid at all. We'll be forming a large retention pond. And if it's large enough, also some additional recreational opportunities in that section of town. So that's been going on, and the letters are starting to come in these past couple of days. Eisenhower cooperation, up to date on recent cooperation with District 218. I met with the superintendent and Roger several times, their maintenance superintendent, for the last couple of weeks. And most recently in the transitioning of the land that the city helped obtain to provide additional parking to the staff and students at the building. And also the moving of their maintenance garage to one of the properties acquired on 127th Street, and working through the building department and MWD process for that. Again, continue our cooperation with our school district to get the most for our community. And we've had a great partnership with District 218, and that has continued definitely up until this morning, like I met with them. Demolitions continue. Most recently, as I mentioned with the resident in the back, a house came down on Gregory Street today. This one did not it was torn down by us, but it was definitely torn down by us by our building department going after them for the last year and a half. It was a complete tear down. The house was holding water for about 6 years. So a huge mold that could not be repaired or saved, and that was demolished today, amongst other properties that we've taken off recently. And that rolls into lots that we have sold, especially in the California Gardens area, the first ward. Alderman Johnson can attest, they built brand new homes on these lots. Alderman, how those houses looking down there?
Pretty good, pretty good.
It's a good thing to have in town, some single family homes that are still affordable, but also very pleasing to look at. In compliment the neighborhood where once houses that were sat vacant for decades. Another thing the city, we have done together is finally go after all these properties that have been sitting empty for many, many, many years. So that's a great sign, and hopefully that continues. The road program is out to bid right now for this year. Streets were shared with you at the last meeting, including speed bumps, and adding some that were added on for streets from last year. We're adding some in some alleys, we're adding some on some streets that came from the alderman that would like to increase it I think everything from this program we've done the last couple of years with speed humps has been very positive. We haven't had one person come to a meeting complaining, because what I was warned about many times by our engineer. That has not happened. So I think we'll continue doing the speed humps, and it seems like it's slowing down traffic, on these streets we have here. 2025 maintenance program has been approved at the last meeting. I believe the pre-approval meeting, has that happened yet, Mike, to pre-contractor meeting? Should happen soon. That should be going on as soon as the weather breaks. We did meet with the alley bidder from last year, Gallagher Asphalt. They're starting April 7th to start redoing all the alleys that have not already been done in the city. And by the end of the summer, every alley in the entire city would be repaved. This one I had on here, and I know Alderman Rolls might mention something on this too, organizing and formalizing our economic development incentive programs. This was a large discussion yesterday with the restaurant group, amongst other businesses we've tried to attract over the last couple of years. And even the owner of Lyric Theater quit that, a lot of things wouldn't be possible with the city not stepping in. So we're going to work as a council to put something together to at least be on the same page with possible economic incentives going forward. There's multiple different things, and a lot of moving parts, because one side of Western is eligible for something, the other side is not. There's neighborhoods that are eligible for streets that other parts are not. So it's going to be a very lengthy process to not promise something that we cannot deliver on some of these programs. And we're a very unusual community with 4 different townships, and we have like 28 different economic brackets. And I know I shared with Alderman McGee, there's 2 neighborhoods in town that we can't apply for any grants or any improvements. One would be in his neighborhood and one is in the 7th ward by Alderman Roll, actually Alderman Roll's neighborhood. That being said, there is grants we could apply for in other ways, through community block grants to invest in book and other things, which we have done. We've applied about $1 million in improvements for water mains and roadway improvements just this past week with support from our new Cook County Commissioner, who put a letter together and is making calls on support of this, along with our state rep, Bob Rita. We'll also put letters together, and hopefully that will be in addition to whatever road program we do for next year. And that would be for the neighborhoods that are not covered by community block grants. New website is launching very soon. I can't put a specific date on, but I know several council members and our staff have been working diligently on finally redoing this website that's been archaic for way too long. That's been a huge process. Continuing conversations with financial institution regarding water bonding. Again, to remind everybody, our city is paying off its last bond payment this year for water improvements that were done over 2 decades ago. There is large improvements that still have to be done. There's water mains that need to be replaced, and the very minimums, the ones that keep breaking all the time. And our 2 water tanks are both due, are surpassed due of being repaired and repainted. So that's going to be the priority moving forward on our infrastructure side outside of the streets. CSX crossing. We were notified today at CSX doing emergency repairs on March 26th, which is tomorrow, on 127th Street. Hopefully only for 1 day. As soon as we found out, we sent it on our Facebook and social media pages. Streetscape phase 1.5 and 1, punch lists have been put through, reviews have been done, and they're starting work on completing all the punch list items to finalize all that. The only streetscape work that will be done this year outside finalizing also about the punch list from our 2 streetscape phases is the finalizing York Street Park. And I'll give the council an update and executive regarding the legal end of that, but it's going to be basically a vast improvement to what's there. Hopefully we'll finally own it. It'll be something we can do without going through the IDOT process if we own the property. At the same time, Travis and Burke Engineering are still working through the permit process to hopefully start phase 2 and 3 simultaneously north of Grove Street all the way to 119th Street. I'd like to do all the phases at one time. Because as we know, our streetscaping and stuff like that, we get economies of scale when we put something in the bid. Hopefully it'll be savings if we do that all at the same time. If IDOT lets us do that. On the ballot for Tuesday is a one referendum item the council has put forward on if the city wants to do a 2-way Western Avenue. This will flow right into how we plan out our phase 2 streetscaping. And I'll remind, for the first time in history, there isn't any signs littering our parkways. Also, if it's negatives, we probably will have a low turnout. So you can do whatever you can to get people to vote. We do have some referendum questions. We do need public opinion. 4th of July planning is gearing up, moving in full force, along with several new events. The Lyric Theater is blocking off a parking lot for a scaled down version of what they call the Warped Tour. That'll be June 7th, I believe. And we have a new 5K run in addition to the ones we already host, through AT&T and their, a nonprofit foundation, and that's June 14th.
And then do-
I'm leading as the clerk's business, but I want to get my report. So more special events, and they're bringing this event to Blue Island because all the things happening there now. This would be a regional event held here.
Is it a name for it, Mayor?
AT&T, what's the nonprofit? Their arm
I'm
of
not sure. I know
nonprofit.
it's all for scholarships.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit arm of AT&T.
I have a flyer at my desk. I'll send it to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
The city met with Bay's Point Development, who owns the marina and the remaining lots that were never developed from the 2008 original development. There's 130 possible single-family homes that would like to be built there. We're in back and forth for 3 years, but very loose and at 10,000 foot because there's certain things they need to do. Water infrastructure, most importantly, that they want to build their homes over there. So we started having meetings with them. One of those meetings is something I'll discuss in executive session of a possible public space, public partnership with a recreational space that at one time the city did put together, but didn't have the money or resources to push forward, and it fell into a private developer's hands, possibly come back into the city's hands. And if that would be the case, obviously we're talking years away, it would be a great benefit to the Blue Island Park District and the city, providing additional recreational spaces. Major artery closure. So recently, Kedzie Bridge is closed for traffic for rebuilding the bridge. Halsted is temporarily shut down on 2 of their lanes. Ashland's been shut down for years now. So we're gonna see increased traffic over the next few months on Western Avenue as the only major north-south artery. I have concerns over this, and Travis has drafted a letter to IDOT, at least stating our concerns. Not holding my breath that if we're gonna get any support from this, bad planning, I think, not looking into this, but we're gonna see additional traffic. I think we're already seeing it on our main thoroughfare of Western Avenue because of this. I myself are just taking the expressway to work now, because I can't take Ashland or Halsted anymore. IDOT, State Representative Bob Rita is reintroducing a bill. I forgot the name of the bill number, and Tom Wolf, we're talking about this. He did try passing a bill for a school zone to slow down traffic on 127th Street that was idled by IDOT and their bureaucratic red tape. So he's introducing another bill that would cut through that. Cooperation with the Blue Island Park District and District 218 to hopefully slow down traffic and create a school zone. So I will update the council as that progresses and hopefully it does progress, because then we can finally slow down some traffic on that street. We are working with AJ Weir and Blue Cap are working together on a grant to involve Blue Cap in some public art pieces throughout the town, still in infancy stages, but they are working together on providing some, putting that grant through. City Hall renovation, windows, roof. We were finally completed the project. They finalized some punch list items yesterday, so we'll have a final payment at probably the next meeting for all final tuck pointing and windows and roofing, everything we did last summer at our City Hall facilities. And just a reminder, we're still waiting for them to start for this building's re-roof, which is paid for by Cook County Invest in Cook grants. And we don't have a date yet, Mike Dewey, for that, but it's gonna be this summer. We had ribbon cutting last week with I'm Ready's Liquor. And just to remind the city, we had simultaneously, we lowered, like last time we opened up our liquor ordinance, we had 5 liquor stores 3 years ago, now we have 3, and that's all we would have because we lowered the amount of liquor stores in town. Bread and Bottle and Jim's Food and Liquor, or Arnadas, whatever the modern name was, on 135th and Western, have closed, so we eliminated those licenses, now we have 3. So, both that, Fort Vegas is under new ownership, they reopened, they remodeled the interior, they've still got some exterior plans, including renovating the old sign, and they are keeping the name Fort Vegas. And United Liquors has changed, and it's gonna be Bev Liquors. It's another chain liquor store called United Liquors. There's a lot of improvements that have to come through that because they've been in housing court with how they maintain their property. So I know today they were doing some work outside there. We have coming down the chain 2 grocery stores coming to town. One on Vermont Street. I believe they worked out a deal to open up in the old Family Dollar location on Vermont Street, a grocery store, which is about 7,000 square feet. And the old Jim's Food and Liquor on 135th and Western is in process of closing. There's a contract for also a grocery store and butcher shop. So that's good improvement. So we'll have not only El Ranchito and Aldi, we're gonna have 2 additional ones about the same size as El Ranchito, which is great. Especially the ones on the south side by Alton Luis, Montoya's area. That was a grocery store for 100 years. I'm glad it's gonna stay a grocery store. And both buildings need significant work, so hopefully that'll start soon. This book was put out by the Blue Island Historical Society. We've been talking about doing this for years. I helped a little bit with this, but Ken Jelma, our native historian, Kevin Brown, the executive director of the Blue Island Historical Society, and Kevin Barron, I did a lot of research on this. If you could pick it up, if not, I agreed to sell some at the clerk's office. We just haven't gotten them yet, and they're $25. And it's basically a pictorial history of Blue Island, and I think it's pretty well done. Oh, Jason Berry, I forgot to mention, Jason Berry is the head of this. So, our native, another historian. So it's been great. I actually like the picture they picked out in front, the guy, holding a butchering knife and a beer at the same time. So very, kind of to the way. And then I have a list also, but it's gonna have to say for executive session of stuff that are mainly have to do with properties and property acquisitions that we can talk about in the executive. I did speak at the Historical Society recently, and I know we postponed for bad weather. That same night, Alderman Farnwell, had a watch group meeting, was the night we had the tornado sirens because of the way the weather was shaking out. We're gonna reschedule that, but I spoke to the Historical Society last month, and it was all, I was supposed to speak for half an hour, it turned out to a 2 hour by the time I answered all the questions. So we're doing so many good things here in town as a group, as a city. I'm very proud of that, and we have a lot to do, as I said, and we're working together on this. And it's been a great run for these past 4 years. I just want to end with reminding everybody, we have a swearing in April 28th at 5 p.m. It's a Monday night in front of City Hall. Let's hope we have good weather. And we have an election on Tuesday. Hope all of us win on Tuesday night. And our swearing in again is April 28th. I moved it early like that for 2 reasons. We know we're unopposed. Second reason, there's multiple elected offices in town in case I didn't want to schedule another night, 1:30 or 2:18 or Morning Valley or Park District or one of the other entities. They usually do the first or second week of May, so I put ours a little earlier. Any questions? No? City clerk.
How, but, that,
Well, it's my fault. I haven't done one.
holy cow. All I have to say is, we have our hometown hero banners, they're, it's due next week. If you know anybody that was, served or is serving in the armed services, please send them my way and I can help them with hometown hero banners. Also community cleanup is April 2nd, and we're looking forward to having another great turnout, so make sure you get your, paperwork in Alderman. What? Oh, I'm sorry, April 26th, but
Yeah.
deadline is April 2nd.
All right. Here, city attorney, we have executive, right?
Yeah.
Okay, city administration, nothing to report. Aldermanic announcements, reports and comments. Alderman Roll.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Just had a quick statement here before the election. So tonight officially caps 4 years of effort and progress by not only those of us gathered here now, but also every single resident and city employee who helped to see it through in ways both big and small. The 4 years that we should all be proud to have been a part of. And as is mentioned, in a week's time, each and every one of us will go on into an election where we are running unopposed. And while pride makes it all too easy for me to reach for public satisfaction is the root cause, I believe there's a downside to this as well. Democracy thrives upon the good faith exchange of informed ideas, but somewhere along the way, we began to increasingly define our politics not as an ongoing dialogue, sharing our views with the willingness to learn from the perspective of others, but rather as a series of zero-sum contests with a goal of political conquest. And the results are all around, including what seems to be a precipitous decline in rates of public participation outside of these large national contests. I believe that this environment has warped meaningful public engagement, while emboldening those who would seek to use power to insulate themselves from accountability to the very public they serve. I also believe that the single best defense any democracy has against the corrupting forces of such an environment is through sustained, good faith political engagement, and that we as elected officials have a responsibility to do all that we can to foster and sustain that engagement. As such, I hope to define my next term with redoubled interest not only in public transparency, but also public accessibility. For example, posting the full appropriation publicly is a necessary form of transparency, but presenting up-to-date financial information visually and interactively, as our new website will allow when it goes live next week, is an example of improved accessibility. and I applaud this administration's willingness to embrace that particular initiative. Additionally, while we post agendas and ordinances publicly, the language in those documents can be dense and time-consuming to read through, especially for those who don't have a legal or public service background. One idea that Alderman Fairwald has proposed is to provide common language descriptions to accompany the measures we discuss and vote on. And I would welcome a discussion here soon on how we can reasonably provide similar solutions in that same spirit of improved accessibility. And lastly, thank you, Mayor, for spending time on the subject of economic development, because I think with regard to serving the public interest, that subject potentially circumscribes nothing less than the future of entire communities. Just as each and every person in this city has a shared stake in that future, so too should they have insight into how we would seek to shape it. I would like to just ask that we make an agenda item for the next committee session for the sake of a short presentation that I'm preparing on that subject and to continue this discussion that was started here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Fairwell.
Well, I'd just like to thank Alderman Roll for his statement and recognize that I think he's led us in some really important directions. And I really and truly appreciate how he's gone way above and beyond the role of a normal alderman, which I guess I am. Josh, thank you so much for your service the last 4 years. I look forward to working with you for the next 4.
No shucks. Thank you.
Alderman Johnson.
Yes, Mayor, I just want to thank all of us, really, from where we started to where we're at now. Kind of was not as cohesive, but over time we understood that we all stand for Blue Island as a whole. And that we understand that some of the things we wanted was a little higher than we could reach for, but to take care of all the low hanging fruit, putting in all the miles of alleys and streets being repaved and coming together as one and knowing the best thing we came here and got elected for was a better Blue Island. And I appreciate these last 4 years with all you guys.
Need a motion for executive session. Roll, all in favor? All right, any motion to, open regular session, Alderman Roll, second by Alderman McGee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
In executive, we discussed property acquisition or selling property and legal liability issues. Good, okay, need a motion to adjourn. Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Ruthenberg, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There we go.